Welcome to Sweeping the Country one more time. I'm your host, Derek Walker. Along with me, as he always is, my co-host, Mr. Jimmy Carter. Hey, Jimmy, how are you?
I feel lighter than a chiffon cake for this episode for some reason. This past weekend, I don't know. I ended up being home. There was some thunderstorm rain.
Yeah.
So I started binging something. And I don't like when I do that because, I mean, you waste a lot of time. The TV is a big idiot box.
Oh, it's a
really
wasteland.
It turns you into an idiot.
Yeah.
There are many things that need to be done around here. I've got something on the floor that I've cleared off my desk, and now it's all on the floor. It's been there for 3 weeks.
Yep.
It needs to get off the floor. But anyway, I put off watching this show called The Morning Show.
Oh, yeah. Pretty good show. Yeah.
On Apple TV. And well, I mean, I've kind of, I've lived this thing all my life, so I didn't really want to go to work.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not a big fan of Reese Witherspoon or Jennifer Aniston or anybody else on that show, really.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Carell. I don't even know what made me get into this. I mean, I think I picked it up on episode 2 or something.
Yeah.
Because I just refired up Apple TV. But for whatever reason, I watched it. I said, damn, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I started watching it. I said, oh, man. And it hooked me. And I watched it all the way from the 3rd episode of season 1 to the end of season 2.
Holy
So I watched
cow.
like 15 episodes or something like that over the weekend. And that's a lot of time for the idiot box. And what do I have to show for that? Nothing. But I mean, I guess I did relax my brain.
Yes.
And that's what it was for. And I did it. And it's really great acted, very well done. I thought season 1 was pretty good.
Yeah, that's all I've seen,
pretty
actually.
Realistic.
Yeah.
It was all in all, just everything was good about it. Jennifer Aniston impressed me with her acting. I knew Reese Witherspoon, could do things, but I didn't know that much about Jennifer doing a serious role like that. And man, she was great. And Steve Carell was excellent. But most comedians can do drama.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And they're pretty good at it.
Because, like I've been told by too many of them, it's easy to make someone cry. It's hard to make someone laugh.
I would agree with that. I bet it is hard. I mean, you get up there.
It's hard. And you really are. And so I watched it all. I thought that season 2 could have been from 10 episodes. It could have been 5. I thought it stretched out. I didn't like it. Was just too dark. But for those of you that love the show, there is going to be a season 3. It starts in the fall.
Okay.
There will be a season 4. Apple just approved that.
Wow.
Right recently, like the last couple of days. So there are 2 more seasons coming of the morning show. Are the stars? Well, Steve Carell's not going to be on there, and I can't tell you why, but his part ran out.
Yeah, right.
But Jennifer should be on there, and Reese Witherspoon should be on there.
Let me ask you a question about that, because I have noticed, I'm watching something called The Silo, which is on Apple also.
I heard that was pretty good. That's probably something.
It is pretty good. There's only like 3 or 4 episodes out so far, and I'm kind of hooked. I'm waiting till next Friday, and I'm finding watching it that way is a little easier than sitting down and biting off that binge chunk where you waste 10 hours of doing it.
You don't remember a lot.
That's true.
You go through it so fast.
That's true.
It's like it's like Ozark. I remember I binged. That was the last time I really did.
Oh, me too, man.
Every time a year came out, I binged it.
The whole thing.
Because the whole
so
thing,
good. So
over
good.
over a 1 or 2 day period.
Yeah.
And I don't remember most of it.
That's interesting. I agree with you.
Go by so fast. And you say, well, why would I binge? Why did I do that? I didn't used to do this because it wasn't available for you to do.
That's true. It's a new thing, really.
And all of these shows are constructed in a way now, almost all your television shows like FBI or Blue Bloods or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's 40 minutes of show, roughly. When you take the commercials
in a 1 hour period.
It's 40 minutes, 42 minutes, something of the show. They tell a story every week that's a complete story.
Correct.
It's got a middle, beginning, and the end.
Yep.
But there's something that's dragged over from the week before, or maybe several weeks before. And that's the game they play with you. So these shows like Morning Show and those kind of things, they're almost like soap operas.
Yeah, I would agree.
Way. That's how soap opera never resolved anything, though. It just dragged you into the next day and the next day.
That's
the next day. And occasionally there was a wedding or a death or some type of event. And then it created 3 other things out of that. But it's an interesting construction, interesting thing about us that we binge things. I'm over here you can't see it.
Yeah.
But I was just watching season 3, episode 3 of For All Mankind.
Well, yeah, that's a great
And
show.
it's a
Yeah.
series. It's a great series. I didn't know they had 3 seasons.
I didn't
That
either.
must have been one that was fairly expensive show
That's
to do,
also, but
I
that's
would think.
also Apple TV, and I was
Yeah.
going to say something about that. I feel like so I've watched Amazon some movies and some Amazon shows and things like that, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad. Same thing with Netflix, all of it, right?
Netflix, I'm the only one in the world that thinks Netflix is mostly crap.
No, you're not. I also
I mean,
do.
it's
I
all these
really
movies and TV shows I've never heard of. People were telling me about one today about some half human, half deer
I don't
or
know.
something.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
I know they got
I
shows.
don't.
They got shows like Is It Cake? Which is it cake or is
Yeah,
it
I
a real
mean,
tennis shoe or is
people,
it
and I
cake?
know that there's a certain demographic that just thinks Netflix is the end all
No,
be
I
all. That there's so much
it's true.
content on it
It's true.
that they find something they like.
But listen,
But that's just not me.
I feel like Apple puts out pretty good quality. It takes them
They
a
just
long
don't have enough
time.
of it.
It takes them a long time. You don't see show. It's a long time before they come out with something like Ted Lasso, which came out season 1 and 2 was
Yeah.
great. 3 is terrible in my opinion, and so it takes a long time to get them. But like Silo and some of these shows we're talking about that are on Apple, All Mankind, that's Apple. It's
There's a
good.
documentary about Michael J. Fox
I want to see
that
it.
just
Yeah.
came up on Apple.
Yeah.
And someone in Cleveland today sent me a note. A friend of mine said,
Yeah.
"Is that you that we hear at 52 minutes into the show?"
Is it?
And so I went 52 minutes into because I hadn't watched the show yet.
Yeah.
Went to the bar, went to 52 minutes, and there I was asking 2 questions
You
on
got
the
to be
documentary. I
kidding
didn't
me.
get paid for it,
Well,
but
Jimmy, you got to get your.
they used my interview and they used 2 on my voice and 2 questions. So that was kind of
Wow.
interesting.
You need to call your
So
agent
anyone
right
watching
away.
the Michael Fox
Yeah.
show, you can go 52 minutes in, and that's me asking a question
I'm going to
about
do it tonight.
his family or something.
You
like
got to
that.
get your agent on that, Jimmy. You got to get paid for that.
I know. I was going to tell my buddy who
Ridiculous.
is my agent on
Yeah.
that, but I feel sorry for Michael J. Fox. So
Yeah, I
actually,
do too.
I won't do anything. I want it to be okay.
I like him
You
a
know,
lot. I don't know why I like him so much, but I
It's
do.
so sad.
It is a sad story. I flipped on Netflix the other night, and there's a documentary on called Parrot Heads or something like that. It's a Jimmy Buffett
Okay.
kind of thing about that, and I'm watching that, and about I don't know a few minutes in, I was just watching the trailer, and there's Tom Shepard, the guy who wrote Redneck Yacht Club for Craig Morgan,
Okay.
and he's standing
He
there
showed
doing
up
an
on it?
interview. Yeah, I was like, you know you're going to be in that. I mean, did you know? And one of his songs is in there and everything. It's just crazy.
Yeah, this whole TV thing is just, people. It's then you get older people that don't want to subscribe to things
That's right. Yeah.
because they don't know how to cut it off or
Mhm.
can't cut it off or whatever, and they just don't do it. And that's why a lot of people have Netflix because it was the first, I guess. Or
Yeah,
one
I
of the
think it
first.
was one of the first.
And then
yeah.
we were all watching that stupid Tiger King show.
Oh God, I
And
remember
so
that.
that really helped. That really had to have helped Netflix. But Netflix is a worldwide deal, and I just go to that the least. I
Yeah.
go there the least of
You
all
have
the
it though,
things.
right? I mean, you have.
I've got it.
Yeah.
But I don't ever go to it, and but I go all the time to Paramount Plus.
That's the one I don't have yet. I still haven't
And
done
that's
it.
the one. But see, I like shows like Blue Bloods
Yeah, and it's
and
got all that.
FBI and
Yeah,
FBI Most Wanted. I like those network episodic shows. NCIS Hawaii, NCIS. I like those shows.
Yeah,
They don't make enough of them, but I like them.
I still kind of watch them on TV. I'm just going back for a second. You were talking about subscriptions and people and getting out of control and all this. There are ways. There's services that handle that for you. There's another subscription, but something like Rocket Money, and you put all your subscriptions in there, and then when you want to cancel one, you just highlight it and hit cancel, and they do it for you. It's kind of nice. I don't know if there's a fee.
If you buy it through Apple,
Mm-hmm.
there's a thing called subscriptions.
Yeah.
And you can go on to that. But a lot of people don't want to get into the bowels of their
That's true.
Apple phones or
That's
anything
true.
like that.
That is true.
But these shows, there's so many of these deals, and I'm so frustrated with it all the time. I mean, a lot of people are fussing because all right, in a new situation 2 years ago, I never had I always had just cable company.
Yeah.
I had Comcast, and it worked And I think I was with them for a long time
Yeah.
in several different cities, and they got to be pretty damn reliable.
Yeah, sure.
And I really appreciated that. But now I had to get into Roku,
Yeah.
and with Roku, got into YouTube TV, and I hate it
Now,
because I can't go back the instant replay aspect of something like Spectrum
mhm.
or Infinity or Comcast or whatever you have on the big cable. You can go back 30 seconds, an hour, whatever,
You can't
and
do it on
rewatch
your
it again.
YouTube?
No, on YouTube you barely can, but it doesn't do it very easily.
Huh.
And it doesn't
Interesting.
do it consistently, or it'll jump back 10 minutes or something
Yeah.
instead of finite there. So it just, and then sometimes it freezes up and goes around like the orange ball of doom and
Yeah, I
just
have
like
that
a
too.
tornado. I was watching something at lunch today, and whatever it was, and it did that, and it just made me crazy
Yeah.
because it's them. It's not. I don't think it's me
No,
in
you
that
are
case.
right about that because I switched over because of you. I switched over. It was $56 a month, then it went to 64. Now it's $72 a month to get
Which one? YouTube TV?
YouTube TV with local channels for
Yeah,
me.
I'm mad at them because
Yeah,
they
they
got
keep going
involved with
up.
the NFL. Because the NFL, they want to, that's the problem. And
NFL
anytime you're
package,
dealing with
yeah.
the NFL, you're in trouble. All these sports rights are so far out of control.
Well,
I
sure,
mean,
and they paid a lot.
Look what Washington just went for. What was it, $6 billion or
Something like
something
that.
like that?
Yeah.
And
Unreal.
they got to get that off of somewhere. So a lot of it's going to get off of, YouTube is Google.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, it
Google
is.
had the money. See how this is all going to work out here at some point real soon. You're going to lose a number of these networks are going to go away
Sure.
because the local stations are going to have to become independent, and they're only going to show old reruns of Andy Griffith and run local news. And
They're
that's all
already
they're going to
doing
have.
it. They're already doing it. I
Yeah,
can't even
they started that.
I look at some of the shows on my YouTube TV that I click through and I'm like, "Oh, look, what's that? What's that? Let's see Family Feud from 1995. They're showing
Yeah.
Family Feud." I'm like, "How do you?" And every channel besides live sports and news is doing that. Just about every channel. You can watch it's just reruns. Just rerun. And at some point people are going to
So,
get sick of it.
so what you're going to have here soon, and I don't know how soon is soon, but I think Apple's going to buy Disney,
Hmm.
the whole company.
Okay.
And so, because they got money. And I think Iger's going to get it to Bob Iger, who's the CEO of Disney, going
Right,
to get
right.
the company to a point where it can sell it. He's getting rid of 7,000 employees. And that's a precursor, I think, to it being sold.
Okay.
Because every company I've ever heard of loves to get lean and mean before it's sold.
Well, sure. Then they can push up the price, right? When it's
Yeah.
running like a top, you get top dollar.
So there you go. Disney's sort of a mess, and they're firing 7,000 people,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still in the middle of doing that. So that's going to be owned by Apple. Apple's going to have ABC, ESPN, and all that. Now,
Wow, wow.
ESPN may be spun off as a separate thing, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
But they're going to have that thing, and then you're going to have Google, which is YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to buy something. They're going to buy something to give themselves more software.
Okay.
They need a software producer. Somehow NBC and Peacock and Comcast, they may survive all this as one of them, but it's going to be Facebook is going to buy something huge.
Yeah.
Apple's going to buy something huge. Google's going to buy something huge. Amazon is going to buy something huge.
And then what do we got
So
left, right? I mean,
that's all
honestly.
you're going to have left is four.
Right. I'm
You're going
watching.
to have four things left, which is they're going to be controlling everything. Your newspapers are just about gone.
Yeah, I can't.
They're there, but I mean, look at what's gone. Just all right. For some people who are young, not us, but for young people, where they got their news from in the last couple of years, Vice Vice is one thing that they got a lot of their stuff from.
Yeah, sure.
It just went bankrupt.
I saw that today. Yeah.
BuzzFeed was also a place where they got a lot of their news from. It's gone. It beamed up to the ship. MTV News had since used to be a factor. It
Not
wasn't
anymore. Huh?
It's gone. So all that's left for people who are late teens and early 20s, where they get all their information, is TikTok.
Whew. Boy.
I was looking at stats on it. It's amazing. Of a certain percentage of kids are on it, not even just like 3 hours a day or something. they're on it constantly. They're on
Talk
it as
about
long as they're awake.
talk about a vast wasteland. You talked about TV being
It
one.
is. It's
Oh
just
my
people
God.
sitting on an egg, or
Yeah.
I mean, just the
Yeah. Yeah.
dumbest, craziest things in the world. I was watching something that somebody was recommending to me, and these are 20-minute segments. I don't. Maybe it was YouTube.
Yeah.
I've already forgotten the name of it, but like, what is the best and worst French fry? And they did 20 minutes
Mm-hmm.
on that. They did 20 minutes on just ridiculous, like the craziest stadium food you've ever
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
I
so
mean,
much
that's
of
how
that.
that's it's just so it's not good for the country
Jimmy,
to have nothing but idiot stuff out there.
I saw the other day planes landing and where they're coming from. That's a spot. I mean
I would
Atlanta
probably
Airport.
watch that for a little bit. There's something for everybody out
I'm
there. I
telling
would
you,
watch,
man, what a
but it
wasteland though.
really is. But it's scary because
Yeah.
we don't have anybody now chasing these politicians who are, many of them who are crooked, or there's no one there to keep them straight. And
Man.
that's what, and you had the other night, you got CNN, which is owned by Warner Brothers Discovery,
Mm-hmm.
which is a huge multi-billion-dollar company, and they're trying to bring it back to the center, but it's too sick, I
It's
think.
tarnished. I mean, they're all tarnished. They've all had that edge where we all kind of went, I'm done with you, right? I mean,
But and that's true. And Fox is in fact Roger Ailes. I was just seeing Roger Ailes was I guess you'd call him a genius, but anyway, he was sort of one of the guys behind Rush Limbaugh,
mm-hmm.
and he was one of the guys on the invention of Fox,
Yeah, right.
helped create it. But he was also the one that was screwing around with the girls and doing all
Oh,
that
sure,
stuff,
yeah,
like
yeah.
with Megyn Kelly and doing all that
Mm-hmm.
kind of business. It's almost the beginning of Me Too, was
Right.
because of him. He died, a very kind of disgraced person down there in Palm Beach.
That's right, yeah.
But his wife is just saying Karma's a bitch
Ugh.
because Murdoch is, they said, destroying Fox.
Ugh.
And I noticed today where Connor McShay, who's my favorite reporter on Fox Business,
Mm-hmm.
he's gone. So
Right.
anybody that, and then they've gotten rid of Tucker Carlson, who I didn't like, but that was a favorite of a whole lot of people.
Yeah, sure.
And it's just all these networks. I don't know what they're doing. They're trying to do something so more advertisers will buy them because they don't like controversy.
But
But
isn't
they're
it
just
isn't it really a dying breed though? As we talk about
what?
these news channels where people are going, you're talking about TikTok being so full of people and being on there 8 hours a day. I mean, at some point, will the CNNs and Fox Newses just go away? I mean, I don't know how.
Well, I mean, CNN is down to some ridiculous number,
Mm-hmm.
300 and something thousand people watching it
That's
in prime time
nothing.
in the United
That
States.
is
It's nothing.
nothing. Yeah.
It's nothing. But it's a worldwide deal,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
people are seeing it around the world.
Yeah, I get
People
it.
forget a lot of times that these things are worldwide
Yeah, that's
things.
true. I did forget
Um,
that. Yeah.
well, it's not going to be good
Yeah.
for society because you've already dumbed down local newsrooms. In fact, some cases they're closed.
Yeah.
I know I've saw one in Idaho, somewhere out there, Eastern Washington, one of them.
Yeah.
They just cut the newsroom off and told everybody to get lost. And they've got one or two people in there that'll do a little cut in, 5 minutes an hour cut in, where they just rip and read something that's off of Facebook.
Yeah.
God knows what.
I have
But
noticed.
that's happening, and that ain't good for the country
No.
because it's just not good,
Yeah.
not to have an informed public, because you have a bunch of people that are watching TikTok and sitting on an egg or whatever they do on there all day long. And then you've got elections that are participated by 10 or 20% of the population,
Which is terrible.
and that's just against the whole idea of what the country
Of
was
a
founded on.
democracy. It should be the other way.
Yeah,
It should be
and you've
80%.
got both sides trying to fix the election.
Yeah.
One side's trying to stuff the ballots and have dead Uncle George vote,
Right.
and then you've got the other side of it, who wants to make it so difficult. We ought to be able to have where we take a holiday for voting,
Mm-hmm.
or that day is a holiday
Sure.
and I think people ought to have to vote. Now that
Yeah.
is kind of a communist idea, but I think you really should. I think you should vote and make it easy where you can vote. But the Republicans, I don't think, like that idea.
Yeah. I think
And
I
the
think it's
Democrats do.
Yeah, I think it's just like anything else. Like we were talking a few weeks ago about the fact that waving the American flag was kind of hijacked by the extreme right, and people
Right.
make this opinion. I think the voting now has gotten so far over to what. Okay, so you can't trust the fact that your vote is counted, can you? I mean, we don't even
Yeah,
know it.
because that poison's been put out there.
Right.
And
That's what I mean.
if I keep telling people, if that's true,
Mm-hmm.
if they really did, and now I know they got dead Uncle George to vote
Sure,
and
there's
some of
some of
that.
that. Yeah.
I know there was some ballot stuffing and some of that,
Yeah.
but if it was really as bad as it was said that it was,
Yeah.
this country is gone.
Yeah,
We are
right.
gone.
Right.
We are gone. GONE, gone. There's nothing to talk about. It's the end of the fourth quarter. We are gone. And so I certainly hope that I don't doubt that they were doing everything they could so Donald Trump wouldn't get elected. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that was I'm sure that the unseen part of the government said there's no way this guy's getting back into the Oval Office because we're scared of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't
Sure.
doubt that, and I've always been a conspiracy theory about President Kennedy. I think he was a loose cannon, and I think
Boy.
somebody up there had him whacked. But
Whew, boy, I
it
don't
just
disagree with that. I don't. I mean, I'm with you on that. I think there's a lot more of
he
that
was
going
chasing
on.
skirts there
Yeah.
toward the end a lot, and he was easily. I don't know.
I don't either. I don't
And
either.
Robert Kennedy and all that assassination. In fact, by the way, there's a new movie coming out. They're going to introduce it at Cannes. It's not been made yet, but it's David Mamet, who's a great director,
Mm-hmm.
writer, with Al Pacino,
Oh, jeez.
Viggo Mortensen,
Oh, man.
John Travolta, and three or four other pretty big names. It's called Assassination,
Whew.
and it is based on. It's not, it's taking it from another angle. It's taking it that was actually a mob hit from the kingpin Sam Giancana because he was mad that he helped Kennedy get elected by making the vote in Chicago crooked,
Oh,
which was
jeez.
always said because there were dead people voting there and
Right.
everything. And that the mob fixed it so Kennedy could be in, and then Kennedy turned on him and had him
Interesting.
investigated and everything like that. So they had him whacked. There is a theory that about that. So they did the screenplay, and that's the movie called Assassination. So
That's wild. That is wild. By the way, you mentioned Viggo Mortensen, who I like as an actor. I think he's great.
yeah, he is great.
Has a place up in Sandpoint. He has a place in Sandpoint,
Okay.
Idaho. We used to see him around once
Yeah,
in a
he's
while.
kind of an outside Western kind of
Yeah,
guy,
he totally is. Nice,
cowboy boots.
nice guy too. But yeah,
But anyway, back to that whole thing.
yeah,
If we let the TV news, they're dog chasing its tail all the time. There's not enough of them. They can cover a wreck on the interstate. They can cover a refinery fire.
mm-hmm.
They can recover stuff like that. But any kind of think piece or investigative thing, very rarely can they do that now. Maybe they have one, maybe they have two reporters that can spend a week on a story or several days on a story, and they do it for sweep period. But that ain't enough to get us by.
Yeah,
These newspapers, they were cuss them all you want to, but they generally kept these local legislators in these state capitals who were the ones most likely to get flipped and turned and be bought off. They kept them, they watched them. They watched them
I
pretty
agree
close.
with you
Now they
100%.
don't.
Right.
Now,
Who is
now with
watching?
Gannett bought everything to try to save it, and they got one reporter covering the whole legislature for the whole state.
Wow.
Which you can't do. It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I've noticed this lately with the news. I'll be watching the news and I'll be watching an anchor person, right, doing a story, and then it'll cut away and it'll be the same anchor person in a different outfit who cut it 2 days ago, a different story. And I
Where are you
think
seeing that on local TV?
local news.
Oh, local TV.
And
Yeah.
I think to myself, the same reporter's doing 5 stories in the segment wearing different outfits.
Yeah, that's rinky dink.
It really is.
That's
I mean, it
rinky-dink.
really is low budget, and I just wonder
Yeah.
how much quality we're getting with that kind of
None.
budget.
You're not
Right,
getting very much
right.
quality at all. But it's not their fault.
Yeah,
They're completely understaffed. It's why you've got, you cuss at the fast food people sometimes
yeah,
because
yeah,
they got the best people they can get, and it's not always the good people,
yeah,
and they're just not run. It's just that's why they're going automated.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, I saw that with the McDonald's. They've opened several locations where there are absolutely no people. How can that? I don't
Right.
even know how. I want to see that operate. I just want to see.
Well, I'm sure they have someone loading the French fry machine or
There's
something.
got to
Maybe
be.
not.
I don't know.
Maybe not. Someone's got to load the software. I don't know how that works
I don't
actually,
either. I don't either.
because you'd have to have an IT person there or
I'm gonna
something.
Google that. I'm
Uh,
gonna pull that up on YouTube tonight and just see if I can find it.
how that works.
Yeah, I want to watch it. I want to see. But
But I
yeah,
mean, back to where we were starting, lighter than air.
yeah,
We don't have many movies coming out. Let's say one thing we don't have, we only have a limited number of movie stars because Disney, among others, got into this thing where everything was a robot or a transformer or something. So they didn't want to pay these movie
yeah.
stars a whole bunch
They
of
don't
money,
need them. Yeah.
and they got away from them. So Las Vegas did this once. They didn't want to pay somebody $1 million a week or a night or whatever the fee was.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to all these production shows and strippers and magicians
Yeah.
and all that stuff. They got away from the star driven show. Then someone brought a star back. Whoops. And it got all the business.
Right.
And so they started bringing stars back, which they've done to a point.
Mm-hmm.
But there are, the movie stars, there just aren't any.
I agree with
I
you.
mean,
I
are
agree
there
with
any?
you.
Name a movie star that you would stand out in the rain if they were going to pass by your house in an open car and it was raining. How many movie stars? I
None. There's
I
none.
might stand out there for Tom Cruise. I might stand out
Robert
there.
Duvall, maybe. Is he still alive?
Robert, he's
Yeah.
older, but of the new people, would you
Yeah.
stand out there for Brendan Fraser
No.
or
No.
any of these people? No.
No.
And not maybe Matt Damon. I'd wave at him because he's a nice guy.
Hey, Nicole Kidman, I might.
There's
Yeah.
a few.
Yeah.
There's a few, maybe 10.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not many of them can open a movie. Will Smith was one of those people till he screwed it up.
Yeah.
There just aren't many people that can open a movie. And now there are all these big, how many stunts can you put in a movie to get people to watch? It's almost like a cartoon.
Well, I read an article earlier today that was talking about, and I can't remember who the comedian was, but there's a comedian speaking up against it. But artificial intelligence, Chat GPT, and stuff like that are writing scripts now. They're writing sitcoms. They're writing movies. They know what we like because what we spend our money on, and that's what they're reproducing. And I find it fascinating.
Yeah, that is somebody came out for it. I saw that today.
Yeah.
Didn't read it because I don't understand what it can do. I played with it a little bit, that AI stuff, but I don't really quite understand everything that it can do. But we're just in a mess if we don't. I mean, I don't know how you fix it at this point. I don't know how you reverse the engines, where you've got newspapers that are honest.
Yeah, I don't know.
People now, they're so busy. I was at the physical therapy thing today for an issue that I have.
Yeah.
And I was just being this, listening to the conversation between they were older Americans, women and men.
Sure.
But they were saying, yeah, this news, they're just all lying to us and everything like that.
That's what's happened. Yeah.
They've been spewing this whole thing about fake news and all this stuff for everybody. But once you say that, it's like, this is the way I've heard it explained. Let's just say we have a room full of people.
Yeah.
Once, if I pointed to you
Mm-hmm.
and said, you're a thief.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, no, I'm not. And that's just stupid. And da 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 da. Say we had 10 people in the room. The other 8 people, they would never look at you the same.
No.
Because even though you're not a thief, but someone said you were, that means there's a 5% chance that you might steal my billfold or something. So with all these people saying fake news, fake news, fake news, fake election, fake election, fake election, it's bad for the system. It's bad. You taint it, and then now no one believes in it.
Right.
I don't know how you put Humpty Dumpty back together again. If it's true, it should have been found out by now. But the whole thing about continuing to just say it tears down the system. And some people don't care if you tear down the system.
No, but it's torn down. I mean, it's been tearing for years and years now.
I mean, is the FBI crooked? I don't know.
I don't either.
But someone kind of claims they are. So now, golly, I want to believe that.
Yeah,
I want to believe that they're good.
Yeah.
We've really gotten screwed up.
You're so right about that.
Some of this is Russia and China.
Sure it is. Yeah, sure it is.
Because it's disinformation and they're pulling in all this stuff like that. And that's why, back to the original thing, the fact that TikTok is owned by the Chinese, and they say they're not, but they are.
Yeah.
And they've been getting software doing things that seem innocent, but it's not. They're brainwashing people.
I would agree with that, Jimmy. And they're also gathering tons of information that we don't care they have, but they sure care they have it. They're analyzing data. They're analyzing behaviors.
But they're making, see, they can go in there and tell people things. Frosted Flakes give you cancer. Frosted Flakes give you cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll probably stay away from Frosted Flakes. But they're a lot smarter than that.
Yeah, yeah.
They're going to go to TikTok, and they know what people are going to watch.
Yep.
And one thing I heard that they're doing, this is crazy, because I'm not a consumer of this.
I'm not either.
So I don't relate to it.
Yeah.
But there are a number of young people that love sad stories.
Mm-hmm.
They love sad music.
Mm-hmm.
They love sad stories.
Okay.
And sometimes from that they will commit suicide eventually because they've been taken down a hole of sadness so much. Sadness becomes the norm.
Yeah.
And if you're a little bit off, they're saying that that's been happening some. And
well, let me ask you this:
that are just deranged. I mean, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I think that we underestimate our enemy a lot.
I want to know why, when we say TikTok is bad and TikTok is stealing information and TikTok is owned by the Chinese and all this stuff, that it doesn't affect TikTok. They still are pouring it on.
These people, because the consumers of TikTok, for the most part, don't watch the news and don't care.
And how would they hear?
TikTok.
Fascinating.
They just like TikTok.
Fascinating.
You know, they're not there for they're not looking at this and, well, I'm being a good patriot, you know,
right.
Because they've given me no reason for me. No, I don't go to it anymore.
Yeah.
They say, parents, by the way, oh, what's it called? I had somebody look it up today. There is actually a homepage for TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it's called, for you or for your or something. And parents, you're supposed to be checking out your kids' homepage. The homepage tells you the kind of videos that your young person likes.
Interesting.
You can see it on your homepage. So if you're a parent that's going to do due diligence with your kid, particularly one that's small, that's got TikTok watching it, find what kind of videos are they watching.
Interesting.
And you need to be monitoring that. So I'm just saying.
I would agree wholeheartedly, especially if they're watching those sad videos you're talking about. And some could
just
be
one example of things.
But you might stop something horrific if you just check that out, right? I mean,
yeah. And so you can't let technology scare you if you're an older person.
Yeah.
And you know, you just can't let it scare you. And you just, I don't know. It's like that back in there, avoiding an app because you don't want to cancel it. You don't know how to cancel it.
Right.
You got to just jump in. You got to be present in the year that you're in.
I agree with you.
There's nothing that looks stupid, more dumb than an old person trying to look 20.
Right.
But you don't need to be an old person that's just illiterate to whatever the culture's doing at the time. You don't have to like it, but in the case of this computing and media, you got to stay up. You've got to stay up, or you become irrelevant and you become outcast.
Yeah,
you become
I agree.
out of society.
I agree with you. Our good friend Ed Santos used to always say, "Be aware of your surroundings," and I think that applies to everything. Everything.
It does.
Technology, whatever danger you might be in or whatever. Just be aware of it all. Learn as much as you can about it, so you can defend yourself. And when it comes to anything, social media, whatever, just a good set of advice there from our good buddy.
We've been all over the place today. Martha Stewart on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Did you look at that?
Edition.
Did you see?
81 years old.
She looks pretty good, Jimmy.
How did they do that?
She looks great.
How did they do that?
That's some kind of airbrush.
Well, she looks good in that picture. I don't know.
Come on. You wouldn't go out for a martini with Martha Stewart? Come on.
Oh, yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would too, actually.
There's no way she looks as good as that picture. There's stuff going on there.
I agree. All right, now, before we go, do you still feel lighter than a chiffon cake?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We somehow get back into some depth, but I definitely feel the whole binging thing made me more of an idiot than I already was. I'll tell you a fun story to end this on.
All right, go.
Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Night, 7:00, I get a phone call up there, and it's one of my children. And I say, okay, I thought I'd already talked to them, but anyway, it's there. So it's one of my grandchildren, young babies. It's 5 years old. And she said, announcement. I've got an announcement. Okay, you've got an announcement. All right. And she said, I went, what? What?
Huh?
And I'm sitting there trying to get the child to slow down. What is she saying? Granddaddy's old. He can't hear.
Oh, no.
What is this? And so, and then the grandson, who's 2, almost 3,
Yeah.
he's jumping around in the back of this child on the sofa like it's a trampoline.
Yeah.
And she's going, you know, she's having just, what in the world is going on? Mama got a baby in her belly. Mama got a baby in her
congratulations.
Mama's got a baby in her
Woo!
belly.
Congrats.
So that daughter that you met is pregnant. So
wow.
we got
I'll
another
have to
baby
text
coming,
her.
another grandchild coming in November.
Yeah.
But that,
good for you.
Oh, that child was, that little 5-year-old, she was, oh, Mama got a baby. Oh, yeah, she was, Lord of Jesus. You know, she was having,
my
she was
gosh.
so excited. She was so excited.
I will have to shoot her a text. And congratulations. How many will that be now for you?
3 for them, for total
Yeah.
total grandchildren.
Yeah.
That'll make 5
That ain't too
plus 1 great grandson.
Woo.
So
wow.
total of 6.
Wow. Gotta love it. See, that's the good stuff right there. That is the good stuff.
Is.
That's the lighter than chiffon.
I just wish
cake.
I saw them all more.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because they're all spread around. But,
well,
you know, that's, well, I got a baby in the belly. You know?
I love it. I love it. That's going to do it for us this week. Babies, chiffon cake, and corrupt government. We got it all. And then some. Until next week on Sweeping the Country, I'm Derek Walker.
Is that a snake I hear in the background?
Yeah, totally. I'm Derek. He's Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter, that's me.